also being a citizen of the UK.
That is one interpretation of that faith. There are many Muslims who don't have that interpretation of that faith, who believe... In fact, Muslims have told me, living in Britain, in their perception, is much more Islamic than many countries that are claimed to be Islamic.
And that's my point. Even within, like, for example, like the Saudi hijabi women, they're wearing makeup. That's against the modesty culture of Islam. There are certain beliefs that I believe that cannot integrate and are not compatible with even the most modern terms of living.
Do you accept that there are many, many, many Muslims who have integrated?
Yes,
Right.
but they're just Muslim by name. They're not Muslim by what actually is the belief of Islam.
That's your interpretation.
That's not my interpretation. That is literally the beliefs transmitted from the Sahaba of Muhammad.
They would claim that they are Muslims. They would claim that they're following the 5 pillars of Islam.
Yeah.
But you're saying...
But just as much as I claim
No.
that you're a hope not hate agent, and that's not true, people can give labels and it's not true. So
you think they are incorrectly labelling themselves as Muslims?
yes. Like a cultural Christian who never goes to church.
I don't know what to say to that. Well, okay, let's think about Christians. There are many people who tick the Christian box on the census.
Yeah, and it's even
But who, as you
decreasing.
say, never go to church.
You know.
But they believe in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Saviour.
Yeah, but like...
Who are you to say they're not a Christian because they don't regularly go to church?
Because although they call this man Christ, what they believe of Christ isn't consistent with the historical persona of Christ.
So, focusing again on Christianity, you're applying your view, which I would say is a very
Divisive.
Well, no, prescriptive.
Why do you think I'm doing a
on
Stan
saying,
Steve?
all you guys aren't really Christian. You say you are, but you're not really Christian, and you're doing the same with Muslims.
I'm not excusing that behavior. Like, if a Christian violently sexually assaults someone, I'm not going to do the cliche of saying, well, he's not actually with us, because, of course, I believe every group should claim the group that self-identifies with that group. So, for example, I think it's quite telling now that we live in a culture that allows for such high levels of sexual assault, even though people like to colloquially give them the name of being Christian, or even the clergy within the church. When they do that, I take self-accountability for my groups. But when we just look in terms of what it means within the current context of praising multiculturalism, we have people on the left that find Islam as an exotic religion and import it to the anti-establishment. I think that is where we're getting it wrong. And in fact, it's slowly unraveling itself with socially conservative Muslims, independent candidates, who I think are showing its true colours. They come into the West, they change their beliefs in order to gain a citizenry within the UK, but then because of course it's so programmed within their minds to believe this thing and be this way, they slowly unravel their programming, in which we find that they ultimately aren't compatible with the West. I mean, why do you think Zara Sultana had to do a tour around her campaign around your party? It's like, guys, we're not actually transphobic, we love trannies. Like, of course, the reason why she was doing that is because she's found herself with allying herself with people who originally lied about what they believed, and slowly their programming is being unraveled.
I think you and I, without doubt, can completely agree on our view about Sultana. If there's anything that's the fruit and nut party, it is your party. Well, I'm not sure she's still a member. I mean, she's been...
No, she's getting legal action.
Tweeting all nonsense. But back to multiculturalism, which you just brought up. Has multiculturalism not actually been a pretty reasonable success in this country?
Yeah,
historically.
Not recent years, no. In recent years, no. Within previous years, I think so, yes. And
so we can agree that there's been Jewish immigrants, Sikh immigrants, West Caribbean or Caribbean immigrants that have very successfully integrated, become part and parcel of our communities, of our societies, have integrated it, brought their traditions, brought their beliefs to us, but at no detriment to Britain.
Yeah, like, I think Jewish immigration is a good example, because they were able to come into these communities and slowly they're being replaced by a less and more valued form of migration.
And there is a risk, even though we agree on this statement that immigration is too high, there is a risk that we must all as sensible adults, nearly an adult,
Yeah, nearly.
need to always be aware of that we don't let ourselves be dragged in the direction, because we know the ethnats, the racists out there will jump on us, will jump on this cause and try and use it for their benefit, as we've seen. So, for example, the protests in Epping, the Homeland Party, which I'm sure most people have never heard of, a vile racist, a vile ethnats, they jump on it, they try and use it to their
So to
advantage.
be fair,
so we must always be cautious of that.
So I think we should be cautious of whoever hijacks. So for me, a lot of people, I saw that Steve Laws, for example, famous ethno-nationalist, he tweeted out to Nick Tanconi, several other figures of the political right who are civic nationalists, challenging them to a debate. Now, instead of casting these people out and calling them out for being basement dwellers, I think we should be able to challenge these people's beliefs as a legitimate form of idea. So just as much as I'm going to talk to the liberals, I'm also inviting any ethno-nationalist to discuss, if they actually get outside, why I believe ethno-nationalism isn't practical for preserving British culture.
Brilliant. And we had some of them here last
And
week.
also-
they were probably about 50% of the entire nation's ethnats, but we had about 5 here last week,
Yeah.
so maybe they'll come this week, and that will be an interesting discussion.
And also, I will say this, in defense of certain members of the Homeland Party who were there just because they were local residents, for example, Callum Baker, although I disagree with him, he very much has my respect. He's been very nice to me, and also he gave up a lot for the Epping movement. So to the Lion of Epping, I appreciate you. Although I disagree with you, I think your ideas in terms of ethno-nationalism is a bit unpopular.
Well, here's a question. And is it okay to stand shoulder to shoulder with ethnats
If it's for a local
for a
problem?
common cause?
Yes.
Would you stand shoulder to shoulder with communists for a common cause? I mean,
Yes.
they're probably unlikely to want to do it, but would you be?
Yes, I mean, if
Well,
you're talking
you're
about the
consistent.
rape,
You're
if you're talking about a rape
consistent,
of a 14-year-old, I don't care if you're waving Joseph, idolizing certain figures within communism. I'd say, hell to you, we'll do this protest, and then at the pub we'll discuss on why I believe you're talking nonsense. And that is the biggest way. If we want to tap the left rather, for calling us fascists and demoralizing us, I think we should be able to do the same self-moderation that we accuse the left of not doing on the right. I think if people are too extreme, we should call them out on it, but not in a way that pressures them to go even further extreme to their ideas, but rather talking to them to where they're at.
So what would do that? What would cause them to go further to that?
If you just start instantly deplatforming these people to have a debate on what they believe. Because then they have this sort of idea that the Conservatives have that, okay, we're being censored because we have the wrong idea.
Fair enough. Yep.
So do you want to shake my hand, Steve? Everyone give a round of applause for Steve.
Big up Steve.
Thank you.
Big up Steve. Oh, no.
You do it.
Do you not like what I'm talking about?
No, me.
Does anyone want to talk about what I'm talking about here today?
Who was the other one?
Come,
Yeah, go on.
Yes.
Do I remember you?
We had a conversation about Christianity.
Whose was
Oh
the
yeah,
other
go
one?
on, there, go on.
Hello, Paz. You all right?
You run kiss. You
I
run.
didn't even see who put the other mic on.
Immigration.
I'm now being recorded, so be
I'll get to
careful.
you.
Thank you.
You're nice dressed,
There
sir.
was someone
Just
stood with
after
the
in a
mic
few
on, so
minutes.
be careful what you say. Not that you'd say anything.
All right. So, I'll set out my ideas. I'm out here until 3 o'clock. By the way, I want to make this very clear. I'm out here until 3. Then the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Someone tell me as well, because I don't keep track of time when 3 is. Well, I'm going to head down to the vigil. Please, everyone, head else down. There'll be speeches from Turning Point UK members, including myself, because of course he was the founder of our organisation. So please pay his respects. This is kind of what I've premised the stand of what I'm doing. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I know I'm quite boring and insufferable, but it's all good fun. I'm going to go an open statement on what I believe in terms of migration, then you can kind of counter what I'm saying here. So what I believe is that although the Dublin Trade Agreement didn't really send or give a fair share to our European countries. I think going forward with migration, firstly, a crucial element from what I've seen touring around the UK in different councils areas is that councils need to have the authority to determine whether they have hotels in their areas. Simply put, because I think there's a lack of social cohesion when it comes to male-only accommodation within these hotels, with unexpected communities expecting to accommodate them even though they weren't previously consulted. Secondly, we need to have actual deals, and serious deals at that, with European countries to make sure that the first European country they get to, that is the country by which they're claiming asylum from. Because obviously, you can of course claim surrounding countries from where these people come from. There's a vastly decreased quality of life compared to Europe. So let's just say, for the sake of compromise with my left-leaning friends, we say that we have an agreement with Europe that states that the first European country you get to, that is the country by which you claim asylum by. If you try to do the whole switcheroo of relying on an NGO to get to Calais, to Dover, then you should immediately be deported back to the country to which you originally claimed asylum from. So those are two things: de-evolved authorities locally, and also ensuring that we have a proper migration system for genuine asylum applicants. Of course, if we still have this high level of immigration, I believe that we can start filtering in the types of refugees we take. So for example, we prioritize the backlog, because there is a huge backlog thanks to the Conservatives, families who claim asylum over male-only applicants. I think that's another way we can look towards it, because if you look, a lot of these people, because of course they have nothing else, they receive subsidies. So for example, even leisure, they receive subsidies for leisure. I don't know if you saw that video of that guy trying to enter the Tower of London, but it's like 20 quid to enter. And if you're a migrant, it's only £2. A man came with a thick Eastern European accent, claimed he was a refugee, and only got them for 2 quid. So a lot of the subsidies, I imagine, have to go, unless there's schemes for exclusively children who are quite obviously traumatized. And yeah, I think there's several ways that this discussion can go through. And of course, I understand I'm rambling, so I'm going to get you to say what you actually want to say about this. But yeah, go for it.
Marvelously articulate. Good job. So I think we're going to agree on the general premise that there is obviously too many people coming into the country. I think the surrounding contexts would probably have some pretty hard, maybe not disagreements, but general intonations that we would approach it with would be completely different. So when it comes to immigration, I think the two things that the conversation needs to be coated in is, first of all, compassion, which I really appreciate that you did give a lot of tips of your hat to lots of different people in the situation that they're in. I think the vast majority of people that are speaking against immigration don't have that kind of underlying ethos of compassion towards people equally. It seems to be a very selective empathy towards their ostensible tribe. Secondly, I think there needs to be a huge acknowledgement of the part that Britain and America and other kind of first world countries have played in the destabilization of these third world countries. And even if the system that we have right now is obviously failing us and slowly disintegrating our country, we do have a kind of karmic debt to pay, because you can barely point to any third world country that hasn't been meddled with in a very intentional way from a first world country to try and destabilize them either politically or socioeconomically.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I think a lot of the time with these discussions, the thing to consider, firstly, I reject the premise that a lot of these people are being selective when it comes to their compassion in terms of like tribalism, because a lot of the times, so for example, a lot of the people promoted on social media now are figures, talking points. I always use Tommy Robinson as an example, just because my man here's the cameraman. So he even acknowledged this, that when he wanted to originally go to Epping, he denied that count because he didn't want it to be a Tommy-centric demo in which people could villainize him for it. So I think a lot of the times now we live in an interesting era of politics in which activism has been completely reduced down to the grassroots level, in which the people talking on these issues aren't big figures. I mean, do I seem like a posh twat, although I try to dress up like an autistic Doctor Who? I am not a posh twat, I'm not educated, I'm only 17, and for whatever reason I've seemed to be at the epicenter of a discussion surrounding migration. So my first point is that a lot of these people speaking on migration now aren't the typical political spokespersons that you would think. Secondly,
You are indoctrinated as well.
okay, thank you, my friend. Yeah.
Migration. These are workers. They are being called here by the greedy capitalists for cheap labor.
So you think I'm indoctrinated? Because I disagree with you, you think I'm indoctrinated?
No, the way you're saying it. There is no migration here.
You know, I just acknowledge the fact that I dress up like an autistic Doctor Who and you think I'm being indoctrinated? You know, a common trope of indoctrination is not a lack of awareness and depth. Hey, you could talk on why you believe I'm indoctrinated. By the way, there has not been one man who told me to do this stand today. I received an epiphany yesterday to in Paramount and Tether to the stand, with the vigil. I just do the stand.
You should blame the state.
Maybe wait and come speak afterwards.
I'm not Polish.
So if I can just rebut quickly,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll get your turn to speak.
They're going around.
Please, brother, wait.
Yeah, to pay respects to a man.
So my perspective is that the vast majority of people that are having these conversations, aren't as compassionate as somebody like Tommy Robinson does seem to be very recently. And he's gone through his own journey to get to this point, and I think it's very impressive now how he speaks. But still, the vast majority of people that are speaking on anti-immigration, they're not coming from a place of equal compassion. They're coming from a place of tribalism, and it's expected. Not everybody is at a place spiritually or emotionally or psychologically where they can do that, but this is what happens when you kind of use divisive rhetoric. You're going to divide the country, and I think that if we actually want to get policies through, we need to not divide people with that kind of rhetoric, with those kind of conversations, and I do like what you're doing here. I think this is exactly what people need to be doing in front of a large audience, but it needs to be coated with a lot more compassion and acknowledgement of the other side's points, which is like, okay, so many people are treating these people subhuman, and they're coming from countries that we effed up. We messed up those countries. We went to Afghanistan. We went to Ethiopia. We went to all of these places.
Can I quickly, so a good case study of this sort of divisiveness and tribalism in play is if I could just quickly backpedal, because I know it's going to be a long drawn out discussion, if you were to switch seats with him, and then from the discussion that I have with him, you can comment on, obviously, the tribalism aspect, and also we'll talk about why we believe that there's an obligation for first world countries that supposedly destabilize third world countries to take them in. So, gentlemen, if you want to switch seats with him, and we can have a discussion on, firstly, why you believe I'm indoctrinated, and secondly, if you just want to switch
Comme
chairs.
tu veux.
Yeah.
Oh, is there any chance I could go after? Because I don't have that long a distance.
Cool. Okay, my friend, what is your name, and can I have a handshake just for...
Yeah, sure. My name is Ikalo. You might call me a refugee here, but I'm not. I'm a worker. I've been invited by the system here, the British system, the British newspaper always give you the way to come in. They tell you, today 100 people came through Cali. People don't know, but they put it in the media. They tell you. And the British media, they say, okay, we tried to return people to France, but the European Union stopped us. This way, they're telling the laborers from Africa, young people like me, to come here. Once they come here, they call them migrant, illegal immigrant, while they allow them. They lead them the way in.
Do you think, so here's a good question. So, of course, I imagine you came in for like a worker's visa, right?
No. I came as a worker, but they call me asylum seeker. I came through Cali.
So you came on a boat?
I never tried an airplane from Africa here.
Did you come from a boat?
From a boat, yes.
Yeah. So you did not come through the legal means by which you can come here as a worker. You need to get here.
What is legal?
Okay, you would go through either a work visa, a student visa, some form of dependency scheme, a worker scheme in which your labour is valued by the UK government. So what you are is unfortunately an illegal citizen of a country. You've come here. Where have you originally come from?
But this is what you call it. I come from Eritrea.
Pardon?
Eritrea is Ethiopia, Eritrea, East Africa, yeah.
So what is the current persecution that you're facing within Ethiopia?
It is not about persecution.
Okay, so why did you come through a point of access which is traditionally for refugees, even though you're not, and you've admitted that the motivation for why you're coming here is because you're a worker and not someone who's trying to seek asylum. What you're doing is actually, interestingly, the gentleman that I had a discussion with over there, he was mentioning about tribalism and this divisiveness, but individual profiles like yourself are simply proving the point from individuals like myself, because You're actually an individual who came here via boat and illegal means. They didn't deport you. You came through, you claimed asylum, then you began to work. Now, can I ask a question? Is your work here legal or illegal? Do you have a national insurance number?
Okay,
Are you
let
documented?
me tell you everything.
Yeah.
To tell you everything, people in third world country, in another world, they tell them that there are jobs here, they paid in pounds, a lot of money can make money in this country, and they lead you to come in. And we come in, the system, maybe it's too much for the people in England because they don't have enough jobs, but it's too little. Immigration is too little for the capitalists because they want cheaper labor. Instead of employing you for 20 pounds, they make you a cheaper labor.
A capitalist
So capitalist doesn't care about race, it cares only about cheaper labor. That's why they are allowing us.
That is simply not true.
That's why they are allowing us.
Simply not true.
That's not allowed. That's why allowed us. And another thing
that is not
about you
true.
or Tommy Robinson, there are many.
Okay, so originally you were sold. So firstly, the type of language pounds being given to you. This is very much the description of illegal work. So you were promised that if you came here illegally, you could receive illegal work and profit off that, off the cusp of this poor capitalist system. Now, firstly, we have the most lucrative welfare system here in the States. And I prefer, in this country, that sort of welfare. Yeah, the Windrush generation did.
It is not good welfare. Could be welfare for you.
He didn't. He came on a boat.
This is cheap labor. This is cheap labor.
I don't want your cheap labor. I don't want you cheap labor.
Okay, tell the state that is allowing me.
Yes, we will.
We will
tell you. We are going to tell you.
People are not happy, but the state is happy because the capitalists, they run the state, and the state is allowing people for cheap labor.
I am telling you now.
And you allow people to come in and you blame me. Don't blame me. Blame your state.
I'm not going to. I'll blame the government. Okay, I'm going to blame the government.
And don't blame the
for
Muslim,
being idle.
and don't blame the Christian. Everybody, if he come here, he will live his own values. The Jewish can live the Jewish way. They are living. You never criticize them.
Okay.
You criticize
Jews
the Muslim.
came illegally.
If he's a Muslim, let him live as a Muslim.
Okay. So,
come into this country. I do not have to change my face.
Before you rant.
Every people have to live the way they live.
Before you
don't separate them.
Before you rant, I just want to make this very clear.
Sure.
So, firstly, as someone who I think has got a good perspective touring around the UK across different migrant hotel campaigns, I can tell you the people of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland do not want you here if you come here illegally. If I had my way and the Conservative right had my way, you would never have originally been promised, because of an idle government, the promise that you should have come here in the first place. You should have been never promised that you could come here illegally. You should have never been promised that you could get illegal work here. You should have never been accepted refugee status. You should have never had this prospect in your mind by smugglers, because that's who told you that you could come here?
So change the capitalist. You have to change the capitalists here who are allowing cheaper labor.
It's a relatively
they prefer me than you. You're not going to work for 10 pounds. That's why they're preferring me. So if you don't like it, if you are the people, if you think you can do the job,
it's illegal to pay you.
Tell the state.
It's illegal to pay you.
Tell your government.
The state's already telling you this.
The
state. Okay, listen.
No,
the state is already telling you.
The BBC. Always
the BBC told you to come here.
Yes. They say, oh, we are not able to send people away. We cannot return to Rwanda. We paid a lot of money in Rwanda, but we cannot do it. When the people tell me that,
he's telling me the BBC told him to come here illegally.
Yes.
Man, if there was ever a good way of saying not pay your TV license, that is through this man here. Now, look.
Don't blame us.
No, I'm equally blaming you. I'm blaming the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, and also yourself.
Laborers. They deserve better pay. They deserve better life.
Okay.
The system here. The system they make glamorous. They tell you this country is beautiful. No.
Smugglers told you.
Even they can't control that.
You see what your history looks like?
They are allowing people to come in.
Very proud of it.
So don't tell me. You have no
Your
right
black
to tell.
ancestors.
So you are proud of
Yeah,
capitalism.
that's true.
The capitalists want cheap labor. You will have.
Did you not? Did you not go around the world?
Thank you. Thank you. The capitalists, even the shop owners, the little shop owners still want a cheaper labor.
Where does the government
That's why
say
they prefer
within British
the
law?
migrants than the British.
Okay, when within the law of the UK does it state that you can be worked under the minimum wage, or you can work cash in hand and you can come here illegally? Because the law does not say that.
You can. I always worked under minimum wage. Many times I worked cash in hand, but the system, they know, because the capitalists are benefiting, they never catch you. They never stop it. If the system wants to stop
the capitalists
I know
are the lawmakers of this country, and they say not to be here.
I'm registered self-employed, but I
You
work
shouldn't be if
under
you're a
minimum
refugee.
wage.
Okay, if you're a refugee,
Sometimes they
you
pay us
shouldn't be
£6
working.
per hour. We work it.
If you're a refugee, you
They
should
just
not be
said-
paying. You should not be working in this way.
Not refugee now. Now I'm British. I have British passport.
Okay.
I make
So
alliance
this
with
man,
the king.
fleeing no
But this
persecution from
passport is
Ethiopia,
just a
got
pass.
told by the BBC to come here illegally, and now he has a British passport, citizenship,
yeah, I
and
have
he's
now.
probably getting paid more than most people here, cash in hand.
Yes. So migration, is it too much?
Deport.
Could be too much for you, but it's not too much for the
Because you're benefiting off
capitalist.
it.
I'm not benefiting
no,
of
the
it.
capitalist
Even I'm
and
not
also
feeling home
yourself.
still, you
you
know?
understand that there's an equal, and before you interrupt me, there is an equal responsibility on you for taking advantage of the system and for the system makers in the first place, that being the Labour Party and the Conservatives. We need to both blame in paramount you and also the government if you came here illegally, because firstly, the fence was open, there's a hole in the fence. Secondly, there's a man who goes through the hole, which is you, taking benefit of the other side of the fence. Now, if you're not fleeing persecution, what you're doing is delegitimizing the genuine claim of people fleeing persecution. What you're doing is fueling people like ethno-nationalists who have the rhetoric, who want no foreigners within this country. You're being used as an example by them to ensure that no one who is genuinely fleeing persecution can actually benefit from this charitable system.
Do you think a job to work underpaid labor, is a system to be exploited? There is nothing to be exploited
You're not talking about labour.
There is
You're
no any
talking
good
about
here, man.
You're talking about the spaces
paid
for
less
people
than a human being.
genuinely
I never been to hospital
You've
for
got
the
a
last
North
50,
Face
40
jacket
years.
on. You've got jeans. You've got shoes. You've got belly in
Jeans
your
is made
tummy.
in China. This is made in China. Thanks to the workers of
No,
China.
it's cash in hand.
Who are being paid by the government.
Yeah.
And they've been able to
Cash in
invest.
hand, North Face jacket, jeans, shoes, food in his belly, and alternatively, we've got people in Ukraine. We have people in other persecuted countries who could genuinely be here without divisiveness if individuals like him didn't take advantage of a lucrative system. The issue is not just with some of the people on the more dissident right fueling this, it's also people like you on the opposite side of the spectrum who is the absolute epitome was what's wrong with the migration system. You have nice clothes, I imagine you're well fed, you're probably getting paid more than people my age, and you're able to claim this whilst also coming from a country that isn't fleeing persecution. What persecution were you facing in Ethiopia?
So there are two needs in this country. Maybe the people, they think there is too much migration and this country is not enough. They have to speak to the state so the state can control the borders. They have to control the borders and to
you just
allow
couldn't come
people allow people just to come by control.
Alternatively, you
but
just
there
didn't
is
have to come
the
here.
other side, there are the capitalists who don't want to employ him. You, Englishman, you want to ask 20
Alternatively-
pounds, 30 pounds. No, you're not good worker.
Alternatively,
I'm going to bring
you
a
just don't have to come
Nigerian
here.
man who do the job. I'm going to bring the Eritrean man to do the job. That's what they do.
Well, what's stopping you?
Capitalism,
What's stopping
doesn't
you?
have color. It's only about saving money. They want
what is
cheap
stopping you?
labor.
What is
So
stopping
you have to fight against
Yeah.
the capitalists.
Well, what is stopping you right now?
And then
Okay.
one of you will win.
How long have you been here in the UK? Just
20
roughly.
years.
20 years, okay.
Yeah.
What is stopping you from 20 years ago
Yeah.
going to a British embassy,
Yes.
seeking legally
Yes.
a worker's visa,
Yes.
then receiving documents
Yeah.
to actually pay into the system? Because if it's cash in hand, you're not paying tax, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not paying tax.
Cash in hand. I never paid cash for a long time.
Okay, this man not paying tax.
long
Okay,
time.
this is getting
I'm paid under minimum wage.
This is this man's
Seriously, I'm paid under minimum wage.
How much are you paid
I'm
an
paid
hour?
very poor.
How much are you paid an
But
hour?
because the capitalists want
How-
me
how
here,
much you
I'm
paid
going
an-
to stay.
how much are you paid an
It's
hour?
less than minimum wage anyway.
What's that though, according to you?
So say £10.
That's not minimum.
It is, yeah. Minimum wage is
I'm
11.
underage. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not
Yeah.
for me. Not for me.
Minimum wage is
Not for
11.
me. I'm 17. That's okay.
I know the capitalists in need for me.
£10
There
an
is
hour.
space for me with the
Okay.
capitalist here. Yes, I'm staying.
Okay. What do you do? What
But
do you
maybe
work?
not for the people.
Pardon. What do you work?
In construction. I work construction.
So a construction job, £10 an hour.
Yeah.
Right. You
Sometimes.
could have got here on a worker's visa, actually contributed,
Yeah.
paid taxes, but instead, what you've decided to do, and this is the question I'm going to ask you:
Yeah.
why did you not come here through legal means? Why did you come here illegally? Is it just purely because it's easier, or?
It is legal. For me, it is legal.
No. It's illegal.
The way I came, it is
No,
legal.
it's not. It's
Because if
legal.
the state opened the border and accepted me,
There's a
it is
difference-
legal.
There's a difference between.
They know I'm a
Okay,
worker.
buddy.
I'm looking for work.
Buddy, there's a difference
And they know
between
what they are
liberty-
benefiting behind.
How did you arrive here, bro?
It is.
A boat. He just said it. From
By boat?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Man took a dinghy, got paid £10 an hour.
I know
and not
England,
paid
the
tax.
oldest capitalist system, who want only workers. They don't care about whether you are legal or illegal. They want you
it's
just
in
to fill the
Ethiopia.
gap. This is what England is.
Me and you could get on a plane right now to Ethiopia, and yeah, maybe there's a bit of racism there, but I'd have no problem. Some tribalism. All right. Okay, even better. There's nothing wrong with me going right now to Ethiopia, but for whatever reason, this man needs to hop on from a dinghy through an NGO to Calais to Dover, not pay taxes, and get paid more than what 16-year-olds do when they're working legally, actually sometimes paying into the system.
The capitalist system is like the colonial. These are colonial powers.
Okay.
This is the continuation of colonialism. They want cheap labor. They allow you, guys, for a cheap labor. They don't allow you because you are beautiful, they like you. No. So they allowed us because they want our labor.
So you know there's
they
a
want
difference
our
between
use.
when
we get old, they might get rid of us. This is always capitalism.
There is no.
So you have to be nationalist to make a national government that look after you.
Do you agree
not
that
after only saving money?
Do you agree that we need stricter borders?
No, it's up to you.
No, I'm asking you, if you had your way, would you open the borders?
For me, it's too much. There is too much coming in this country. The Chinese doesn't allow that much of people to their country. The Russians don't allow that much of foreign born people to come to Russia. Even Russia is much.
Okay.
Look, Russia is more richer than England.
Okay. If I pay for your flight to Ethiopia, right?
No, the capitalists want me.
Hold on.
I know the capital.
Hold on.
This country is not for you.
Hold on.
This is for the bankers, for the capitalists.
Okay. So I've got a question. If I paid for your flight to Ethiopia right now.
You are poor, man. What do you have?
No, okay. If I pay for
you
your
are
flight,
from North England.
If I pay, one second.
Yeah.
If I make sure to pay for your flight to Ethiopia,
Yeah.
would you go back, considering that you want tighter borders here?
I can pay your flight to Glasgow or to Sheffield, or train ticket. I can pay that one. I'm very needed here. I have money for air.
How much money do you have right now?
I have.
How much money?
I have money.
How much money do you have?
But I have enough money.
How much is
Yes,
the money?
I work under minimum wage.
How much money do you have?
But still I have money. You can't make money in England. This is a capitalist state.
Why are you speaking from there?
Wait, how much money do you? How much money? Do you
I have enough money.
How much is enough?
What do you want? How much is enough for you? Is million enough? £1,000,000 is it enough?
Well, do
is
you
it
have a
10 million enough? No. Depend on the people. For me, I have enough money.
Hey, guys, stop, please, for life of me. I know you're a bit enthusiastic, and I know you're enthusiastic, and I know certainly you are. So relax.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. So the issue is not with the fact you're getting paid £10 an hour, because I imagine your outgoings are not that much. You said you have enough money. When I offered to pay for your flight to Ethiopia, you admitted that migration is too high and that you would close the border. Now, for me, you could go perfectly through a legal means of migration, but I really want to pose questions to you right now. So, what are your outgoings looking like? Like, how much you have to pay in bills? Because I want to compare that to the native British population and how much they have to pay. So, rent, like what your accommodation look like, that sort of thing.
When I told you I get paid under minimum wage.
Yep.
So I've been exploited for my labor. I've been called to this country.
You've
they give me
exploited
good
this country.
image, but I'm living under poverty level,
Do you
this
own a
country
house?
is not comfortable.
Do you own a house?
No, I don't.
Where do you live? Like apartment, house?
Yeah, I live in a flat.
Is it council owned?
But it is not about personal, my friend.
No.
I'm telling
not
you,
asking for your
if
address.
a person is paid under labor,
I'm not asking for your address.
I'm needed by the capitalists.
No, I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll agree with that.
Yeah. So don't blame me.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm not gonna blame you.
If you think it's too
I'm
much,
not gonna blame you.
You
Hold on,
blame
hold on.
the nation.
Okay, I blame
Don't blame the left, the
I blame-
laborers.
okay.
No. The nation, the police are allowing. The immigration officer are allowing people to come in.
I blame that.
Because they've been told like this by the capitalist system in this country.
My friend. Okay.
That's it.
So, I agree with you.
Yes.
But can we continue onwards? So, I want to know firstly that the apartment that you own, did the council give you it or are you paying rent?
I'm telling you, I live in a very bad situation. I paid less than minimum wage.
You keep on telling me that.
I'm being exploited.
But do you live in a council house or do you live in?
It is not about personal. But
I'm not
when
asking
I tell
for
you
your
I don't have
address.
money, you tell me where do you spend it? If I'm rich, I will tell you.
I'm not asking
this
for your
is my
address.
villa, this is my thing.
I'm not asking for your address. I'm just.
No.
Are you provided housing by the council?
I live in a room in a shared flat in a house where I have 5 rooms.
Yeah.
I rent 1 room.
So you rent?
Yeah.
In London?
Yes. In London. Yes.
Okay. And the people that you rent with, do you know them or are they just other workers?
Oh, that's too much. I can't go to.
Okay, you can't tell me that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the profile I'm looking at is
Yeah.
you're living with 5 other people in a
Yes.
shared apartment in London.
Yes.
You work for under £10 a
wage.
day. Now, you're living in a situation that a lot of Londoners are living in which, for me, it means that your outgoings are either are pretty good, or because you're not declaring taxes and you're self-employed, you're just pocketing the
What
money.
tax?
that
I
people
do
would.
declare. I didn't tell you I don't declare. I
You just
declare,
told me.
but I don't pay tax because my income is very low. There is
Okay.
a threshold where you don't
You
pay
meet under the
taxes.
threshold. Okay.
They know that I'm poor. I'm not earning enough. So the tax office send me, this year you don't have to pay anything. They send me back.
Do you claim
So
benefits?
it's legal.
Do you
It's
claim
legal.
benefits?
Depend on my income. Sometimes when income is low, then I get help with
So you
housing
supplement your
benefit,
income
universal
through benefits?
credit. Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. So you supplement your income through benefits that you receive, universal credit, I imagine. You live in a shared
Look,
apartment.
the landowner
Yeah.
before, when they have the slave, when there
You're
is
not a
work
slave.
time, they feed them.
You're not a slave.
And when there is no rain, when there is no rain, when there is no work, even they have to feed them to make them prepare to work for the next year harvest. So this is the way they're doing. The system.
I'm asking
the
this question about his living situation.
So the system. This is.
certain amount, then he has to.
Yeah, and I'm asking that question because
But he's working.
wait, do you
So
not
don't
think?
blame immigrants.
If you earn a certain
Even me,
amount,
I
would
know
you pay
this
that
is
tax?
too much coming in this country, but don't blame us.
Okay.
Blame your
Okay,
system.
Listen, bro. Listen.
Blame the
The
system.
reason I do. I
Yeah.
blame. Okay, like I said, I blame the man who made the hole in the fence, and I blame the man who went under the fence as well. Right?
Yes.
If there.
Blame the man who didn't do the fence very well.
Yeah, and also blame the man who walked in, even though very
But
obviously.
if you are benefiting of my labor, you might be benefiting from my labor.
You guys did, right? You guys did it, right?
Yeah, I mean, could you condemn that? Do you condemn British
I blame me
colonization?
before I
in
blame
Africa?
you first.
Hold
I
on.
blame ourselves.
Okay.
And many British
should
are
have done better.
benefiting
Do
as
you-
well of
do you condemn
migrants.
British
They want cheap
colonisation?
labor. They want
Okay,
people who do
so I
the
condemn him for the
washing,
same thing.
who do the cleaning
I
of
blame myself
streets.
first. I blame
They
Africans
want
first.
people who clean the toilets.
Okay, no, blame him and
They want
also the
people who
government. I
work
blame
in
the government
Amazon.
first,
Okay, do you go to your
then him.
government
So
first?
Yes.
many of them
yes.
are benefit.
No, I'm not. Listen, Keir Starmer, Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, all of the individuals who oversaw this terrible migration policy
Not individuals,
are
it is the
equally
system.
the first port of call to blame. Then it's him because, of course, he took advantage of it. Now, it's like for
It's not advantage to take
How
care.
do you present me with an advantage that's going to benefit me?
But it's illegal. If
Being the person that gave the opportunity
it's like,
to
for example, if HMRC, if you
Thank
knew
you,
that
boss.
you were earning over the threshold, but HMRC was more likely than not going to investigate you, the government,
this is what I was gonna ask.
the
Yeah,
government,
go
the government was not to blame for the fact that you.
Took advantage of
Yeah,
law.
but the government should have done something, but they didn't, and you did something which you shouldn't have done. So both are equal to blame.
Wait, no, wait. Let me ask you. I was going to present.
Actually, in fact, I'm going to do this rule. If you're not sitting on a chair, you can't speak. So, my friend, unless you want to say anything else, I think.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Don't blame the migrants. We are workers here. We paid less than minimum wage. If you have system to fix, please fix your system. If you feel you are not empowered to fix it, you organize yourself. Say in England for the English is not bad. Do it like that,
Hear it from him
and
first.
don't allow people to come in and then exploit them. Stop capitalism. Capitalism. The
Listen,
evil
man in the female sunglasses,
Thank you
please
very
go
much.
away.
Thank you very much.
I am not Polish. I am not Polish, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you,
We
my.
love the people of Britain and
Yeah.
England. We respect them. But if you feel
Go on.
not comfortable with migration, do it a legal way. Do it a legal way. Do it a nice way. I think I've done this one. I'm not sure who it is.
You got questions?
I have a question.
I think he's done.
Okay.
I'm done.
How much the fee? How much the fee for immigrant? Yeah.
My best.
You hear me?
Sorry, no,
Focus the lens. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So, shut up. So, good afternoon to all of you who are watching. My name is Wendell Daniel, and welcome to Urban Scoop. And we're coming to you live and direct on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page, where about 20,000 of you are watching, and also on Tommy Robinson's YouTube channel. And today is a very, 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 very special day. We've got this geezer here, and this geezer here His name is Young Bob. And as a direct result of what Young Bob is doing, there will be an amazing event taking place at 3 o'clock. So Bob, what's going to be happening at 3 o'clock? You see these pussies at the back? They got to stand back there and say Tommy is this and Tommy is that. They're pussies. That's why they're hiding in the background. Don't worry about them. Yeah. I can deal with them. So what's going to be happening at 3 o'clock?
We have a memorial service at 3 through. It's going to be at Hyde Park for Charlie Kirk. Of course, this is a man who essentially gave this platform here. I'm the youth ambassador for Turning Point UK, is the founder of the organisation that I benefit. Listen, man, keep your conspiracy theorists out of it. Anyways, he unfortunately passed on the 10th of September, doing a stand like this one here, but of course way more organised because the man had such large success, even starting an organisation at the age of 18. So really, it's just to commemorate an individual who even tried to do the same thing that he was so interestingly able to do here in the States, here in the UK. And I think a lot of people can take inspiration from at least the format, a way of dialogue that Charlie did here today, and hopefully we'll be able to continue. But I have a rule: for those who disagree with me, they come first. So for the individuals who are saying Tommy's a racist, can you please come to the front?
And also, what I love about these people, the more they talk, the more they open the mouth, the more unintelligent they look. So come, let's debate. Big up,
come over here.
Unintelligent nutcase.
Why not?
Come.
Coward.
Look. You can bang your chest. Let's do it live and direct. Live and direct.
Well, what are you, sorry?
You go. You go.
Migration researcher.
But is that an official title?
You go.
Thank you. Young asylum seekers.
Hey, we'll look after your bag.
I mean, I generally believe young asylum seekers should receive the subsidies that they have.
No. Because you're white, you're going to go move forward. Because you're white. No, I've been invited.
Well, I've got a line of people. I've got a line of people. So if you join that line there, we'll get to you.
Right, well, step aside. Step aside.
I apologize. That was my fault. Yeah.
I think they're more.
You're next. You're next.
No, he'll decide. Him first.
Okay, go on. Let's.
All right. Okay.
Let a man who's more nicely dressed come first.
White man's time. White man's time is more valuable. White man's time. Yeah, I'll go ahead. My time's more important.
This government.
Literally, you're the second in line. You are second in line.
No, you're making
second in line.
Just one question.
Second in line.
You're making the money from immigrants, yeah?
Yeah.
If immigrant is making extension his visa, how much they pay for the home office? The money. Do you know how much the total?
Well, to be honest with you, look, a lot of agencies, they just like come here through dependencies.
No, they make money from immigrants.
No.
This government, they make money from immigrants.
Okay, that doesn't mean that we should let them in though.
But you said immigrant is bad.
No, I said that. Well, firstly, you're taking and trying to reduce down what I've said on this banner here to somehow.
The home office.
My friend, like I said, I'll speak to you. If you want to pose a question, that's fine.
Right.
But if you then have an answer and you want to preempt that as a debate, you have to wait in line.
Okay.
So let's talk to this nice gentleman. How you doing, my friend?
Greetings. So I found the statement here very, very interesting.
Yes.
Immigration is too high.
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of an absolute statement.
Yeah.
So
an absolute statement that pull people in with more nuances.
That's right. So, immigration being too high, then that becomes a matter of opinion, yes, of the people versus the state. So the state may say immigration is not too high, our management is well, and you might say immigration is too high. So what's your position?
So my position is just this, that, well, it certainly seems that if we live in a democracy, there are certain systems in play that allow for migration that people don't agree with. Then I would agree to the premise that they shouldn't be here if the people agree to that it's too high itself. So the very much opinionated statement is very much just that if this opinion is held by most people, especially if you look, there's an insurgency of protests in local communities and they're calling for their council, and only 3 councils really have the planning permission to implement any sort of form of change within these hotels. So my real push with this discussion here is just to look at what people are saying, what they want in terms of migration, saying that the systems that we have right now don't represent the opinion of the people surrounding the UK, and just also looking at the way that we're attempting to integrate these people by having a lot of these contracts with these hotels in small, local, urban communities. It's only very recent that we've slowly started having a pull towards London, and that's where you're seeing issues like Canary Wharf, for example.
Right. So what you're saying then, the problem is democracy. Is that what you're saying? Ah, interesting. What is your solution then to? Well, if the problem is democracy, what is your solution?
So my solution is I don't think the Labour Party should have had that appeal with Epping Forest Council. I think that council should have had that legal precedent to attach to in terms of legal proceedings. Then that would have offset, because of course the reason why. I'll break it down for you. So Epping, a lot of these hotels run off C-Lot 1 licenses. Hotels, they're not fixed for long-term accommodation. They need planning permission for that. The council argued that then that infringes on the laws, therefore setting that it should have been shut down within 14 days. That injunction was set. The injunction was appealed by the Labour Party because of the legal precedent set. If that was the case, then I believe 22 councils were going to give legal action towards these hotels against the government. So I believe that legal precedent should have been enshrined. I don't think the Labour Party, because of their incompetency and cowardice, should have went for that legal proceeding. Then that would have allowed for the determination of local councils. And of course, they listen to protests, unlike big government. So the Parliament never really listens to protests because they don't have to live right next to their protesters, unlike councils, because of course councillors are very much part-time positions.
Okay.
So then you would have councils slowly chalking out their migrant hotel contracts. Then you kind of supplement, I think it was like the 20,000 migrants that could have potentially been kicked out, because that's how much the Labour Party was calling for, 5,000 HMOs for 20,000 migrants. You either supplement that with like Nightingale facilities, so abandoned government buildings then being fitted for long-term accommodation, or you have schemes that enable people to then house these people.
Okay, so I did ask the question, democracy is the problem?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then the solution, I didn't understand what the solution is.
You
just told me what is happening.
You give essentially the power to the people. And I gave... Right. So the solution is power to people, the people, and democracy is a problem at the moment. So is it the system of democracy or what? It's the way that we run our councils. I think I'm a strong advocate of de-evolved authorities given to councils, because I think the way that we historically chopped up council authorities is incredibly weird and ambiguous. You'll find councils that have a lot of authorities, whilst you have some councils that have none at all.
Oh, right. So therefore, this immigration being too high, it's the fault of the state.
Yes.
You're saying the count. But then again, clear this up for me. I understand that you have the system of democracy.
Yep.
And then you have the system of the civil service. So the civil service is supposed to serve the voters, the system of democracy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There's a difference
the issue with the civil service is that the Conservatives, because they wanted to perpetuate and stay in power for so long on the topic of migration.
The civil service is conservative.
No. I'm talking about the Conservatives, what they did with the civil service, because there's a reason why we have a backlog of asylum applicants. It's because they removed a lot of the people working for processing their asylum applications. And that's why you have such a massive backlog. The reason why migration is such a problem is also just because of establishment conservative figures who artificially made migration such a huge problem. It was the Conservatives that oversaw one of the biggest spikes of migration. It was the Conservatives that gave these contracts to these hotels. It was the Conservatives that increased the backlog of asylum applicants. All of these things contributed to right now what you're seeing in terms of a divisive society when it comes to migration.
Right. Okay, so listen to you, you're saying Labour's a problem, the Conservatives are a problem, so therefore the whole system of democracy itself needs to be revamped. Is that what you're saying? And which way would you revamp democracy?
Right now, I'm pretty much a political nihilist. When it comes
say that again?
A political nihilist. I don't think a lot of political parties right now represent my beliefs. So right now, you look on the right sphere, so you have the milquetoast Conservatives, or the Conservative Party, you have the Reformers, which honestly, leaving the
Reform UK, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heavily distrust their policies with leaving the ECHR, because they want to remove 500,000 migrants, and this is where we need to be self-critical on the right. On one parliament, even though you need 6 months' notice to leave the ECHR, even though the parliament, when you introduce legislation, you can literally overgo the ECHR. So you don't need to necessarily leave it. Then you also have the issue of trying to renegotiate the Good Friday Agreement. So you have the Conservatives, which are essentially centre-right, centrist. They don't know what they are because Kenny Begg doesn't know who she is personally. Then you've got Reform UK, which are just rhetorically on the right, but in terms of their actual policies, firstly, they have high expenditure, and secondly, they're not practical. Then you have Advance UK, which I have a degree of admiration for, but I need to look at their manifesto when it releases. Advance UK, yeah.
Oh, I need to look that up.
Run by Ben Habib, the former deputy leader of Reform UK. I need to look at his manifestos. And then, of course, you have smaller other right-wing parties which also strongly focus on remigration. Issue with them is just that they only focus on one issue, that being migration. You need to look at everything when it comes to austerity within the UK, not just one problem. So, for your answer on a solution, you need to back behind a broad church conservative movement that actually gives a plan. So I actually strongly appreciate protest movements that actually give pressures to councils to make sure they invest.
A broad church conservative movement?
Yes.
What is a broad church conservative movement?
Well, what you're seeing...
With the political nihilist.
Yeah. So when I said political nihilist, it's just more of a joke on how...
Oh, a joke!
more just how I don't appreciate political parties in their current state. So I don't think right now, in terms of migration, political parties is going to solve anything. Because migration now...
you're talking about the problem, but I want to hear your view on the solution.
I'm going to give it to you. Because I'm going to give you the problem, then give you the solution. So, right now, your problem is that you have no trustworthy political parties with a good track record that will actually tackle migration.
You made that clear.
But
you don't believe in democracy. Okay.
I do.
You do?
I do believe in democracy. Of course I do.
Yeah.
Then you have the second problem of, I think migration right now is a local issue. A lot of these issues surrounding migration are in local areas. So for me, I just think you need this coalition of conservative-minded individuals who are forming grassroots campaigns to actually give pressures to councils, and this coincides with my devolution of council authority, because then that enables councils to determine whether they have these people here, and that is driven by small conservative movements, but then push these people out of these areas.
Okay, so these small conservative movements, do you think that they should unite under a party, a new party?
Not right now, no.
All right. So how will these different movements be united in order to
just the local community
power?
I was at Canary Wharf yesterday, and they had a community first banner, and that was the whole kind of thing. I think a lot of these protests are kind of embodying this kind of post-World War II mentality of this kind of communities kind of celebrating the fact that they still exist. And that's what you're seeing with a lot of the Pink Ladies marches. That's what you're seeing with the protests against the migrant hotels. It's all bringing together the community that when I've gone around the UK, they all know each other, they have stories with one another, and it's not like they've just suddenly get to know each other because of these protests. They've had long histories with one another.
Okay, so bringing back strength towards the community.
Yes.
Right. In the most effective way by trying to understand these different movements.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what is the opposition or the challenge against what you're saying? Who is the enemy against of the movements that you're trying to encourage?
A lot of the Labour councillors. So
Labour?
Yeah.
And not Conservative?
No, the Labour council is a big problem. Because 2 days ago, there's a Labour councillor who called the people doing Operation Raise the Colours as pedophiles. So a lot of the time, I think divisiveness is a big problem, because a lot of people can actually agree to why migration is an issue. We can kind of outline the underlying problems, what is causing migration, either a problem socially or why the numbers are increasing, if that be because of Brexit, if that be because of just an idle government who can't really get a strain in terms of strong governance. So, and a big issue, and the stands like this kind of solve that problem or kind of outline it, so to speak.
Right.
It's divisiveness. It's me calling my opposition communists, and it is my opposition calling me a fascist.
Right. Okay. So, what will be your view then? That David Lammy has just been recently
Big up David Lammy.
Yes,
Is he your brother?
Labour, and I understand, and I'm very concerned that David Lammy, who appears to be a black man to me, is Deputy Prime Minister, Lord Chancellor, and Secretary of State. All those three positions.
I mean, to be fair,
he has.
Deputy Prime Minister means nothing.
Oh. Well, I've heard, even here at Speaker's Corner, that a move is they put in a Deputy Prime Minister, and then something happens, and then the Deputy Prime Minister moves into power, not by vote. And so,
no, Deputy Prime Minister, essentially the only authority given to that is like when the Prime Minister is away during like the proceedings of the, during the, whenever you need to meet the head of state, Deputy Prime Minister kind of fills the boots, but it means nothing. I mean, David Lammy is the same man when he was posed the question of what was the king that came after King Henry VIII, he said King Henry VII. I don't have an issue with his ethnicity, I have a problem with the fact he just seems obviously incompetent.
Oh, so you don't have an issue.
Just to let you know, the time is currently 14:36. So the rally's at wherever's meant to start at 3 p.m. So I'm just reminding you. And the question is, immigration is too high, change my mind.
So, okay, what I'm going to do then, because I don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything before you go? Then I'll let this man speak, then I'll pack up and then I've got to go somewhere.
Yes. So I'd just like to say...
I mean, I would too. If you want to get in contact with me, we can actually have a platform discussion.
Yeah.
You don't speak to researchers, you speak to regular people.
I mean, I'm a 17-year-old. I'm just as regular as anyone else here.
But let's speak facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thrown a bunch of numbers around.
What numbers have I thrown around so far? What numbers have I thrown around so far?
The 5,000 that you said, the 22 councils that backed Epping didn't happen.
Yeah, of course. It did happen. No.
Anyway, I'll shake your hand. I'll shake your hand and move on.
They did not. No, they did not say back to Epping. I said that rather they were trying to. They had the intention of seeking legal action.
Oh right.
Read the article if you want. But
They backed the Epping decision.
no, they didn't. They said they would seek legal action. That doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't.
Sorry, I am coming.
Come here. All right. If you want to have a discussion, right, honestly, and if you're a researcher, again, I'm literally at Mr. Nobody. If you want to get in contact with me, we can have a long-form discussion if you want.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't plan to be that long.
Because to be honest with you, if you are a researcher, there's going to be a disparity between my education and yours. So let's have a time discussion professionally. Yeah, go for it. We're literally just going to do this and then finish it. Literally just this and finish it. Yeah. So, in fact, if you we'll do this, guy. How long are you going to be?
I'm going to try and keep it quick, guys. I'm going to try and keep it quick because I'm focusing on one issue. It's not one statement; it's one question. Okay.
Okay. Question. I'll give an answer then finish.
Okay. Question answer. Finish.
I'm more concerned about the visual.
It needs a little bit of context. Preempting it, I'd like to congratulate Bob on having what I think is a reasonable discourse. We've clashed in the past, but as long as you're polite, this is constructive and good. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. I went to the Tommy Robinson rally to feel it out, and I went there as someone who's not a huge Tommy Robinson fan. I also went on the anti-Trump protest where I met Danny Tomo and I met you. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Trying to bring this all together, there was a particular speech which was made on stage at the Tommy Robinson rally, which I've asked Danny Tomo and he has disavowed. He said he doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you the same question.
Go on.
Okay. Context though, on the Tommy Robinson rally, my experience was most of the people were pretty decent. Most of the people had legitimate concerns, be they right or wrong. And they were fair enough minded people, and there should be a discourse with them and the moderates on the left as well, which is sadly lacking. It's become too extreme. But the speech I'm going to quote is an example, I think, of that extremity, and I want you to be able to fact check it. So, if you want to fact check it, you can go to YouTube title, over 100,000 people join the longest far-right protest in decades. It's a Novera Media, and at time code 250, a guy called Brian Tamaki got up on stage. I watched it and I booed him. And he said the following. He said, and I'm nearly done. He said, it's Jesus Christ versus Satan, Christianity versus the rest. Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and whatever else are all false religions. Okay, we've got to clean our countries up. We've got to get everything out that doesn't know Jesus Christ, ban any type of public expression in Christian nations from other religions, ban halal, ban burqas, ban mosques, ban temples, ban shrines. Now, when I heard that, that's too far. Okay, you can fact check it there. Now, I've asked Danny Tomo, and he shook hands and he went, no, that's not my view. And I honestly believe this is not the view of a lot of Tommy Robinson supporters, including, I suspect, Tommy Robinson himself. But unless it's put into context, there's a danger that the left-leaning media will typify this as the position of the entirety of the right, and it will destroy the discourse.
You know, of course.
So I'd just like to know if you would condone that comment or distance yourself from it, the same way Danny Tomo
I would
has.
distance myself as far as the fact that I don't think that way of thinking is practical within the West. But however, if you were to ask for my fantasy civilization, I wouldn't find it offensive.
Okay, I've asked a straight question. You've given a straight answer. So you do disavow it, but you've been honest enough to say where your inclinations are.
Yeah.
My inclinations are very much with the gentleman who came up before, who I believe was Charlie, who I suddenly can't see here. He was third before us with the blonde hair, and he was talking about a degree of compassion, which was necessary when dealing with refugees, which I think is appropriate and Christian by my reading of Christianity. But you've got to find a balance between the level of immigration and a level of reasonable compassion. I don't want to get into the political weeds because I'd like to fact check and research more before doing it. My primary field is ethics.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to pack up and yeah. Thank you, everyone.